Hello, everybody. Welcome to the showgram. Welcome to the pro. That's how we do things. So, what's going on these days? Well, got some extreme heat. I've been watching stuff on the news, and I've been just watching the way people are conducting themselves, and it seems to me, um, people are really they haven't learned a thing from COVID. It's like, oh, let's all do the opposite of what the government says. Let's be cunts. They're treating what is an abnormal weather event, an existential danger, as a free fucking holiday in a really hot country. And how the fucking people behave in really hot countries. Well, if they're fucking British, they uncover as much skin as they can, go out the hottest time of fucking day, don't fucking hydrate themselves, engage in fucking strenuous physical activity when their body can't fucking manage to fucking regulate its heat, and where, that they just do all the stupid things you shouldn't do. They do the absolute opposite because they think that's what fucking hot weather is about. I mean, oh God, where do I fucking start? Do I even start? Should I change the subject and discuss fluffy bunny rabbits and pleasant things instead? Because I'm still reeling from fucking Scotland versus Brazil. I didn't watch it. I didn't need to. I double checked after the fact to make sure, you know, it was going to go the way I expected it to go, and of course it did. I mean that to me is just depression and the cruelty of fucking life. You know, poor old Scotland, the plucky Scots. I mean, can't they just draw some equal fucking teams, get the luck of the draw, and just make it a bit of a way up the ladder before they inevitably get decimated and slaughtered and slung home? I mean, it's bad enough that they're a small country with a small enough pool of players to get. I've got sympathy for the Scotch. You know, and they're obviously out of their element in hot weather because. Anyway, enough of that. Scotland versus Brazil. Poor old Scotland. I could discuss that. We could discuss anything. I'm probably going to go with the fucking heat angle. Oh God, it's too fucking hot. Of course, it's too fucking hot. Why is it too fucking hot? Well, I mean, no. Should we discuss Donald Trump's latest? He's fucking said he's going to fix this reflection pool in Washington. He got this big fucking needle, like a Cleopatra's dildo sort of needle poking up, and they got this fucking pool, you know. And he said, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to fix it. And he fucking did a shit job. And the algae's back. And he's saying it's due to vandalism. People have been vandalizing it and causing the algae to come back with no fucking concept of what algae is, what conditions cause algae, any of that. And oh God, he's just. They've been slagging Andy Burnham off as well. Well, feel free. What do you expect? Of course, he's going to slag Andy Burnham off. And Andy Burnham, well, he's just going to wait until fucking November when fucking Trump is going to face the midterms, and there's going to be a massive rebalancing of power in American politics, and he'll be rendered quite fucking impotent because he won't be able to get the votes through the Senate or the House or whatever it is. I don't really understand much about politics, but I know that if you haven't got a majority in the House and the Senate, you're kind of screwed. And it's only a matter of time before his own people start turning on him, as they always do. They always fucking do. Happened to Hitler, happened to Mussolini, happened to Nero and Caligula and all those fucking ancients and greats and, well, not so greats. The infamous, we should call them, yeah, the infamous Jews of suffering history. The nutcases, the weirdos, the dictators and masturbators. Yeah. Ooh, that's okay. So, no, that's no use. What have we got to look forward to in life? Well, got the nice weather, ain't you? You got a nice weather. It's not nice. It's dangerous. It's horrible. Stay hydrated. Don't wait till you're thirsty before you drink. Drink so you don't become thirsty. Is that too hard for you to understand? Keep pouring it down your fucking neck before you realise you need to fucking pour loads more down your neck. Don't wait till it's too late and start chugging it down. Wear light coloured clothes, loose fucking linen, cotton. Get a nice big hat to cover your head. You know, don't walk around in direct fucking sunlight unless you absolutely fucking have to, and fucking do the sensible things if you. Oh, do you know what? I can't be bothered giving people advice. Oh, it'd be worth it on my channel because, you know, the life you fail to save may be someone who fucking who you can do without, you know. So maybe I could do it as purely reverse psychology for idiots going, well, if Grobnob says to do these things, I shall not hydrate myself at all. I shall go on a water fast and dry myself out because that's the logical way to do things. Yes. Let's do the opposite of what fucking Grob says. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I see someone's been suffering from baldness and trying to approach it by having computerized fucking images of their face with the hair restored. No, 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 no. Hang on a minute. You're kidding that. You don't think you're just going to look even more silly because it obviously bugs you that you've got Mediterranean blood in your system, not English blood, not Northern European blood. No, it's the Mediterraneans who have the baldness. They invented it. You know, origin of the species. Mm. Your ancestors lived in an environment where a lack of hair wasn't going to impact on you because you didn't live through an ice age, whereas us tough, rough Northerners did. Mm. Yeah, I'm not talking about the North-South divide in London, because we're all Northerners in this part of Europe and this part of the hemisphere. Mm. Anyway, just trying a bit of cheese. Not wolf's bait, actual cheese. Having a bit of bread and cheese. Why not? People have a right to eat bread and cheese. Mm. Right. So, I've been watching some literary discussions recently, usually with, exclusively presentations by the author, Will Self. Yeah, author and TV personality. He was featured on Vic and Bob Shooting Stars, covering for 1950s bin man Mark Lamar when he went off to do something else. Yeah. Yeah, he's very serious about being an author. I doubt he earns much money out of it because he's always doing other stuff, like he was a professor for a few years. Oh, that's a good little gig, being a professor. I mean, fuck's sake. Mm. It's like your top fucking academic job, that, isn't it? Professor. Yeah. Mm. I'm just eating. I'll finish eating. I can't be bothered. There's no one listening anyway, so I'll just eat. Wait till someone turns up. Mm. Oh, I'll have to grab that. Mm. 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 Yeah, yum, yum, yum. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Bit tasty. Mm. Yeah, I'm a terrible man. Terrible, terrible man. Mm. I fancy a bit more of that. Mm. So yeah, real self. Mm. Yeah, it gets into some fancy ideas of the nature of reality itself, of writing fiction, of what's that thing you come up with? Yeah, so there's a mixture of geography and psychology. Mm. And he got into doing these walks, you know, walking to airports so that you're essentially walking to New York. Because if you can walk to the airport, get on the plane, fall asleep on the plane, wake up as you get off and walk to your hotel, because you've slept through the fucking flight, because obviously you're not going to walk the Atlantic. Um, hard time if you do, because the only way you could realistically do it would be to go on a boat traveling at the exact speed that relates to the number of miles you could walk a day. Will Self didn't say this, I don't think. I've come up with from the own. So an idiot. But yeah, that's quite theory. Quite an interesting approach to life, you know. He likes walking from London to outside London, not being driven, not driving, not going on a train or a bus, walking. Mm. Right. So, you seen Donald Trump going fucking mad, losing his fucking cool? Not that he was cool to begin with. Over this fucking stupid paddling pool he's got up in Washington that he says, I'm going to repair, I'm going to make paddling pools great again. All the best people. And now it's gone wrong and the algae's returned. He's insisting there's nothing wrong with the workmanship of his cheap, fucking miserable idiots who couldn't fix a leaking faucet. He's insisting that people are vandalising it and causing the algae to come in. He just doesn't understand how nature works. He doesn't understand reality. I mean, the guy's fucking senile. And he takes everything as a personal attack against him, even when it's nature itself. Here we go. I bought I brought a super dry watch into a jewellery shop today. Right, cheap made in China generic fashion brand with a fucking branded dial on it. Probably quartz movement. Yeah, you know, a supermarket mall watch. Yeah. The look on the woman's face when I asked her to have the strap replaced. Yeah, well, you really want to go to a watch cabin or a market stall to get the watch strap replaced on one or something like that. Because if you go into a fucking Rolex dealers, they were going, I'm sorry, sir, we can't help you. Not feeling a pelly pool story, but Trump is always talking out of rubbish. Madness of Long George levels of mental illness. Yeah, he's a proper King George. Not Long George. Unless you know something about him we don't. Did George have a massive 12-inch willy? And his nickname was Long George on account of his massive member. Well, I can tell you, Trump is no Long George. He's more little Dick. Mm. Well, it's a watch. You buy it, the battery runs out, you stick a new one in. The strap goes, you stick a new one in. When it eventually goes wrong, you stick the whole thing in a bin and buy another one at the same price. I mean, obviously, just into affordable watches that basically a disposable piece. Yeah, fair enough. I'm not snobbish about the fact that someone wears a 50 quid watch. When I wear watches that are, 300 to 400 quid. Yeah, huh? I don't feel that someone with a 10 grand fucking Rolex is any better than me. They just fucking earn more money and spend it on nicer stuff than me. Mm. Mm. Oh, yeah, just mansion. But from a pragmatic and logical point of view, you should be getting yourself something like a Casio or a Timex instead of just like a fashion brand. And the problem with Superdry is they're linked to a rapist who co-founded the company. So it's kind of like North Face or Adidas or Nike. I mean, because Jimmy Savile wore so much Adidas and Nike, it's kind of get the pedo look. Dress up like a school PE teacher, and yeah, it's basically wrong and clothing. Co-owner of Superdry gone to jail for the rape. Yeah, yeah. So it's Superdry. It's basically a rapist watch. Yeah. Mm, mm. I mean, at this point in history, if you wear an Adidas tracksuit or a Nike tracksuit in either bright red or gold, teamed up with a string vest, a gold Rolex, jangly gold chains around your wrist and your neck, and some red round National sunglasses, you're basically dressing up as Jimmy Savile. I mean, yeah, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Um, it's like Burberry. If you wear a checked Burberry shirt, you're basically saying Oasis, Chavary. Mm, mm. If you wear North Face, you're wearing Californian right on fucking politically correct company. But behind the scenes, save money by buying goose down from foie gras geese that have been horrifically mistreated and force fed to make their livers overfed and more suitable to be sold to rich people for foie gras pate. So basically, North Face is an animal abuse sort of label for people who've got no respect for living animals. Yeah. Mm. I mean, if you want to be edgy, you can know about this stuff and wear it anyway and go, oh, I don't care. A lot of them are produced using very low paid labour, equivalent to slave labour, paying people $2 a day, which is not enough to sustain any kind of lifestyle as a mere existence. Producing garments that sell for fucking tens of pounds, if not hundreds of pounds, and make a massive profit margin based on the human misery of the staff. I mean, it's borderline modern slavery. Not going to name these brands. Go and look into it yourself. Mm. You can't win. I mean, the various electrical companies associated with various record companies. And if you go and get a reissue of your favourite band's vinyl, you're contributing to a company that makes a lot of money selling military grade electronics to kill people that are sold to dodgy companies, no, dodgy countries who kill their own citizens and their neighbours. And you're kind of, supporting a company that does that. So there's a lot of morality in it, and various, producers of sugary drinks and high street fast food. They get up to sort of a lot of political shenanigans in foreign countries, like third world countries, where they're basically killing people and behaving like gangsters. Yeah, there's a lot of really dodgy stuff going on in the world. Mm, mm. I'm just eating bread and cheese and I'm loving it. I mean, I like cheese, I like bread, put them together. Some might call it a cheese sandwich, but I've always said bread and cheese. Mm. Had some wine yesterday. Oh, proper on one. Red wine. Let's see, what's it called? Oh, Campo Viejo Rioja. Yeah, 2023. That's not too bad. Denominación de Origen Calificada. The soul of Rioja in every drop. A vibrant expression of fresh red fruit and spice. Pure passion and effortless elegance. Yeah, that's me, innit? Effortlessly elegance. Yeah. Effortlessly flatulent, mate. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Mm, fucking beautiful. Yeah, so got any questions you want to ask? Don't expect sensible answers. I'll just treat you with absolute contempt and probably just misunderstood what you've said and talk about poo poos and wee wees and picking your nose and turn it into something vulgar. Mm. All right, I'm doing munchings. Mm, beautiful stuff. Mm. I'm awake because it's too hot. Um, Sort of having a cold shower, maybe soak a towel or a flannel in some cold water and have a compress. Here we go. Why wasn't Jet from the Gladiators on your Fitbird list? Not familiar with Jet from Gladiators, but I'm sure if you'd have mentioned that and I've had a quick Google at her and seen her fizzer, she might have made it on the list, she might not have, but it's quite likely she wouldn't. We've got Sharon Davis on there. That's your athletic fit bird. Mm. May as well ask why Karen Smiley wasn't on there. You like her? Mm. Or Emily Matis, thinking man's bit of crumpet. Mm. Or Emma Freud. I mean, she's getting on a bit now, but she's fit in the youth. We've got Danny Dare on there. No Amanda de Cadenet, though. Mm. Don't think I'll allow Justin Frischman to be on the Fitbird list. But, she was mentioned in passing. Mentioned in dispatches, but she didn't get a medal. Imagine walking in Julia with 120s and 4 generation trade show and a super dry watch. The reaction was comedy. I think you did it on purpose, didn't you? A quota on 90s Gladiator birds. Not so much a quota, but you got Sharon Davis in there. She's got the body of a fucking gladiator bird. Mm. Mm. I seem to remember she got the ump, didn't she? With like these male to female transgenderists banging their way into women's sport and winning everything because they're bigger and stronger. Mm. That's a weird. I mean, makes sense to me that you know they should just close down women's sport entirely. You should have the qualifications with no demarcation, no groups based on gender. It's just like, look, whoever's the fastest, the top 10 fastest, they go into the contest and race each other. And anyone, regardless of whether they're male, female, mixture of the both, gone from one to the other or back and forth, or whatever. If you're not the 10 fastest in the world, you don't go into the top world contest, right? Goodbye. See you later. Don't care. Mm. Very vocal and annoyed about it. Some bloke with hairy bollocks identifies a bird is ludicrous. I think they have to have the nuts off before they're properly allowed in the swimming pool as a bird. But I'll be perfectly frank with you. I couldn't care less because I don't like sporting contests. I don't like athletes. I really don't fucking care. Right now, I'm interested in authors, film directors, musicians, people who create stuff that's going to last a few decades, or cross your fingers and hope, centuries. Right? Football, you know, it comes and it goes. It's a live event. Once it's over, unless you witness your team winning a world contest, and it's great and it'll stick with it. Most a big disappointment. Who wants to be constantly disappointed with a bunch of other people that you've invested all your hopes and dreams and projected them onto them, failing you every fucking time? I mean, it's not much fun, you know. All right, I get that it's exciting. I get that you've been convinced it's the fucking, the pinnacle of human achievements, how good you are at kicking a ball around, stopping other people getting it, and then kicking it between a fucking goalpost and scoring. It's an oversimplification. I mean, I'd rather deal with reading a novel that sets up a scenario that's so weird and twisted yet familiar at the same time that you don't know what's going to happen, and you go on a journey, you know. Or I'd rather see someone produce a really good painting or a piece of music. What I've been doing recently, I've been watching old Rolling Stones stuff, so that by the time the new album drops, I'm ready for it. You know, I caught up with the last two albums because I was big on them in the '90s, and they kind of phased out because, like, when a band disappears for 18, 20 years, what have you kind of, oh, you know, there's something popped back with a new album 2 years ago that I missed and I bought to sort of catch up with, and a bigger bang as well. Bruce Jenner still has his appendage. I don't know. I don't care. John Hendry, author and musician, Stay for Another Day is out soon. Yeah. World Cup makes a lot of money for people called Jerome Champagne and Giovanni Infantino. Oh, yeah, it makes lots of money, but it's just entertainment. It's not like a real fucking thing. I mentioned REM, some 50-year-old bird, and she scoffed that they were overhyped and shit. What, the pop group REM? Shiny, happy people. Everybody hurts. Yeah, they were kind of a '90s phenomenon, very popular with people. If people like that, that's up to them. I'm not going to be dismissive of them because they don't do the sort of music that appeals to me. They're obviously very gifted musicians and performers, and they wrote a lot of quality stuff. They connected with people. I mean, just because it's not my particular sort of genre or sort of area, because I like it dirty and sleazy. I like Guns N' Roses, Rolling Stones, bit of filth, bit of squalor, bit of decadence and bohemian sort of nature. But people like Crowded House and REM and James Blunt and Phil Collins and all sorts of things. And I can't be bothered criticizing what I don't like because it involves listening to what I don't like more than I would fucking have to. So I just ignore it in blessed ignorance and go, horses for courses. Someone else likes it and they can go and fucking indulge themselves till it falls out their fucking arse and squirts out their fucking ears. And, just because I don't like something doesn't mean I have to fucking slag it off. It's not like there's no morality in it. I mean, I don't like people who do disgusting acts. I'm talking about your murderers and your molesters and your abusers and your fiddlers and swindlers and just turds who ruin everything. Obviously, I hate them, but just because an actor appears in rubbish films I don't like, or some dickhead musician sings shitty songs I wouldn't wipe my arse on, doesn't mean I have to fucking hate them and go, oh, look at the state of Robbie fucking so-called Williams. Oh, fucking angels. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I could slag him off if I wanted to, but I don't give a fuck. Do you know, we used to live in Michael Winner's old house in London, which is right next door to fucking Jimmy Page's fucking castle. And he wanted to get planning permission for a super cellar, and Jimmy Page stopped him getting planning permission, just like Keith Richards is always stopping planning permission anywhere near Redlands. Yeah, I love a bit of a story like that. REM mainstream weren't the complete band. I don't know. Wasn't the bloke called Michael Stripe or something? He had a shiny bald head and, whatever. I mean, during the '90s, when Britpop was going, when the Chili's were going through their fucking rubbish phase with Dave Navarro not being able to fucking write any decent songs, but they were just doing live shows. When all that was going down, Oasis and Blur, yeah, vaguely. I remember having Park Life on, and I didn't mind a bit of Oasis, but I was actually getting into the Rolling Stones, Page and Plant, classic Led Zeppelin, Eric Clapton, Jeff Beck, Slash's solo stuff, Snake Pit. I mean, Guns N' Roses. I mean, when they disappeared, I mean, I'd still play Appetite now and again, but I was mostly into the Stones and Zeppelin throughout Britpop. And Page and Plant were putting out new albums. The Stones had 2 albums out in the 90s. So I was kind of getting into the old stuff, but they were producing new material. So it wasn't just oh, I'm going into vintage, I'm going into retro. The fuckers were still alive, still doing stuff. In the Beatles, remember when they put some shit out? They did their fucking. They released all the fucking weak versions that weren't good enough to go on records, and they had to fucking do another take. They thought they'd put that rubbish out. And then they got some fucking demo with a bit of John Lennon on it and thought, right, we'll release that as a fucking song. I thought that was a bit dodgy. Yeah, Bono's wife is stopping apartments near their huge house in Dublin. Typical NIMBY Bono. Not in my backyard. Well, fair enough. Look, you buy a fucking nice house that's got a lovely view. You don't want some cunt building a fucking high-rise, knocking out your view of the Irish Ocean or the sunset or whatever it is. Of course you don't want fucking dickheads building shit in your fucking eyeline. You don't want a fucking school for special needs grunting spastics next door to your house either. I mean, fuck's sake. Time and a place for everything. And it isn't next door to an established rock star. I mean, why do you think most of them buy fucking farms with a farmhouse right in the middle of several acres of land that they own every fucking acre of? So they don't have any fucking neighbours getting on their nerves. You know, ideally, you want your closest neighbour to be about 3 fucking miles away. That's why rock stars buy stately homes with big gardens and farms. You know, so you get some fucking peace from the fucking hoi polloi of fucking people. Hating Bono is allowed. Yeah, but I just want to be controversial and not hate him. And obviously, I fucking have not much appreciation for anything he's done in the last 3 decades. You know, I don't mind New Year's Day and One and what's that fucking sad song they did? With or Without You. I don't mind a bit of that, a little bit of it. But when they did Rattle and Hum, and they're like, "Oh, we've discovered the blues, and we're going to go and do a song with BB King because you know we're really in his class, and we're exactly the sort of band who can write songs for fucking BB King to sing. He needs us to help his fucking miserable career." That's kind of a bit wank, isn't it? You know, it kind of works when you've got Keith Richards teaming up with Chuck Berry and Muddy Waters, going, "Hey, dudes, I fucking love you guys. Do you want to come and fucking be my support act?" Muddy Waters. And when they finished the tour, Muddy Waters, for the first time in his fucking life, bought himself a brand new car and still had enough to pay his taxes and a good chunk in the bank. So, yeah, that kind of works for me. Giving them really good paying work as your opening act so that they can fucking story actually. The Rolling Stones, Mick and Keith and all of them, they went to America and they went to, I don't think it was Chess Records, it was the other one. It might have been Chess Records. It wasn't Sun Records, Chicago. And they went in, and there's a bloke fucking painting the ceiling, a black guy painting the ceiling. And they go in, and they go, they're like, "Oh my God, my..." And then that a bunch of fucking weird little white kids in Britain, a place he probably maybe heard about on television, had come all the way to America and were telling him how brilliant his songs were, and they're naming all the songs and the albums and all the fucking stuff. And he's like, "Oh my God, they're fans." And they're like, "Right, you know, come and be our opening act when we do a tour." And he's like, "Yeah, all right then." And they played to some of the biggest audiences going and got some fucking decent money on the road. You two got worse and worse. Yeah, they probably did, but I kind of ignored their stuff. I find it easy to ignore their stuff because when you don't have a TV and you don't listen to Radio fucking One, but you do listen to Radio 4, you don't know what's going on with fucking stuff. And I don't watch soap operas either. I mean, what's going on in EastEnders or Emmerdale or Coronation Street? I don't know. I don't waste my time. I'm not tied to that fucking routine. Do you know what they called soap operas? Because when they were originally aired on the radio, they were sponsored by the manufacturers of soap powder. They were pretty much put out there for the fucking housewives' fucking afternoon fucking break when they'd fucking get some domestic drama of fucking idiots all squabbling with each other so they could advertise various brands of fucking soap powder. Because that's when the mums who were in charge of the domestic fucking duties in the house, back when we had fucking real family structure, you'd have your bloke went out, he was the breadwinner, the wife stayed at home, raised the kids, looked after all the day-to-day admin. It was a division of labour, but it's now been eradicated because men don't earn enough and they have to fucking send their wives out to work because they're too fucking limp dick to earn a decent enough life to afford to fucking pay for anything. They're definitely high on the David Brent spectrum. Oh yeah, beautiful girl on the hood of a Cadillac. Yeah. You two got worse and worse. Well, possibly. They went from bad to worse. Some would say they went from good to bad to fucking truly terrible. I don't know and I don't care. It doesn't behove me to fucking lower myself by, potentially being seen as being jealous of multimillionaires with fucking fantastic lifestyles who fucking achieve so much with their lives. Even if I don't like their music, I mean, fair play to them. They've lived the dream and won. You know, who am I to slag them off? I mean, I don't know. I might own one YouTube CD, a fucking greatest hits. They don't really figure much in my musical choice, but I do like. What was before Rattle and Hum? Was it Joshua Tree? I mean, I kind of liked them. They were out and about when I was a kid, and they're part of the fucking wallpaper. Same way Gary Newman was. But I'm more likely to see Gary Newman as a genius who changed music than I would level that kind of acclaim upon fucking Bono, who's just basically a bog standard singer and a pretty mediocre fucking band as far as I can tell. They had one fucking trick with a fucking delay pedal. A drummer and a bassist who weren't especially fucking gifted at anything, and a singer who just put loads of fucking emotion into it and fucking wanked off over fucking politics. How would you feel if you spent years building a fashion brand like Superdry and your co-founder gets porridge for rape? Yeah, well, I'd be a bit pissed off. Like, oh no, they're calling us super rape. I thought women would grow tired of soap operas. I don't know. Aren't they the most popular TV shows on TV that are still actually on TV that actually get viewing figures? I don't know. There we go. It's just an anti-feminist thing. Let the birds work, but most of them freezing their eggs end up with no kids and regret it. Apparently, I don't know. I don't know. Joshua Tree was 87. Rattling was 88. Acton Bailey was 91. Yeah. Did they do one called Child or War Child or War? Well, I don't mind stuff like Sunday Bloody Sunday and With or Without You, New Year's Day, One. Some of that stuff. I don't mind it. Bono start, yeah, Bono, Vox, and The Edge. Jesus Christ, he always wears that because he's ashamed of being bold. Sue Roper, Johnny Cash on it singing The Wanderer, weird album. Yeah, well, Johnny Cash probably needed a few quid, bought himself a conservatory out of it. Or had his fucking kitchen refitting and thought, yeah, fuck it. An afternoon's work singing with U2 and a one big check when I fucking do it and another big check from the fucking royalties and then fucking, you know, a 5 grand check twice a year. Yeah, it's good money. You can't blame fucking Johnny Cash for taking War and Not for earlier albums. Yeah, I think I was into them up till, yeah, Rattle and Hum. I think Rattle and Hum would have been the bit where I went, oh God, where the streets have no name. And I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Oh God. Yeah, they became almost an exaggerated cliche of themselves. Yeah, but they're not my favorite Irish band. I mean, you got to understand the Smiths and the Beatles were essentially Irish bands, although filtered by. I mean, basically they're genetically Irish, born and bred in England, but with Irish sensibilities. And I'm saying the Irish are good. And I'm saying, don't deny them that they're fucking credit where it's fucking due. But if you look at the Smiths, just look at their surnames. They're fucking Irish. Yeah, all right. They grew up in Manchester. They're born and bred in Britain, but ethnically they're Irish, and their work should be added to all the great Irish people who never left Ireland or went off to fucking New York and was still fucking Irish. I like the Irish and give them fucking respect where it's due. It's one of the few things where they fucking perform on the world stage. But yeah, I think the Smiths are better than fucking U2. The Beatles are fucking Irish. Yeah, more Irish than English. Unforgettable Fires 1984. Story of his Live Aid made U2 massive. Yeah, well, go massive stage to fucking pose on and pretend you're the greatest fucking. They were just like their Jota with pop. I think their Jota was already covered in fucking crap anyway. English like the Pogues. Yeah, I don't know. I'm inclined to give them credit where it's due. But they were Scousers. Well, fucking Liverpool's of all the places in the UK, Liverpool's the most Irish. It's got the most Irish people in it. Yeah. And the Irish are known for their banter and sense of humour. You know. But yeah. Well, I'm kind of interested in that sort of thing. They're all right in my book, the Irish, most of them. There's a few idiots. There's one of them just starting his prison sentence, isn't he? That dirty devil. Oh, the rock band making fun of themselves. Yeah. We should leave that to fucking satirical comedians. I think Not the 9 o'clock news did some great taking the mickey out of artists, especially Kate Bush. Do you remember Pamela Stevenson? We missed her out. I think she'd have made it into the fittest birds of all time. But Pamela Stevenson, smart woman. I mean, she could have carried on with an acting career. But no, she got married to Billy Connolly and went back to school, got herself educated, and is now a psychiatrist. Um, so yeah, psychiatry. That's a good education. That gives you a bit of insight into the human condition. Philosophy. I think they're an interesting bunch. Mm. Uh, you know, Science leaves me a bit dry. Someone's got a physics degree. Yeah, there's not many anecdotes about fucking the various boiling temperatures of metals and all this, that, and the other, and all this. This will interest you. Oh, will it? No. Starting his prison. Yeah, there was this Northern Ireland politician guy that's found to have been doing the diddling for years. A wrong un, young people and what have you, and he got a fucking big sentence for it. And there's that Scottish guy who was doing a different kind of fiddling. He was fiddling people's money, and he's got a big sentence and all. Pamela Stevenson, one word, war. Yeah. I remember one sketch, it was like taking the piss out of American Express, how they were always like really overly fawning to the sort of anyone with an American Express card. She goes, "Oh, American Express, would you like to rub my tits?" And just wheeled them about. That was great. Jeffrey Donaldson considered himself British. I'm sure it's some bloke in Ireland. Um, yeah, but he's a unionist, so he's part of the fuck. Oh god, it confuses me. Oh, the British. Well, if they're refusing to be Irish, I mean, they have to be fucking British, but we really don't want him, do we? Oh god. And fair enough, we can't go calling him Irish because they'll just throw him right back at us and he'll fucking land. He'll come through my window if they throw him at us. Saying that, he'll be on the special wing, won't he? Oh yeah, yeah, because he's a Protestant, isn't he? And he'll be on a wing that's full of Catholic priests. So, wrong denomination. Yeah, that Scottish fucker. I mean, is it worth it? I mean, what goes on in their brains when they think, yeah, I'm going to nick all this cash, spend it on fancy cool shit, and I'll never get caught for it. People just assume I bought it with money that I didn't earn. You know, of course you're going to get caught when you spend it. That's what they always say with criminals. It's like, right, don't buy a fancy car. Don't go on the town fucking throwing money around. Just go home and when you come out tomorrow, wear the same clothes and just fucking stand around looking miserable. Yeah. So the last thing you want to do is go from a position of just having a couple of pints in the pub to buying everyone a fucking round or 10. That's how people get nicked. It really is. It's like, oh, someone's full of money. Oh, yeah, there's a fucking big robbery recently. Who should we go and fucking nick? Gordon Bennett. Is he Irish as well? Oh, Bennett's a fucking English name. Yeah, Gordon Bennett. Yeah, yeah so I've been getting into Will Self. I mean, he loses me. You know what I mean? When you're a fucking PhD educating people studying for their master's degrees, um, you're going to go into some complex terminology explaining stuff that, you know, is well beyond me because I've never fucking studied literature or anything beyond fucking O level grade. So, yeah, of course he's going to lose me with some of his fucking stuff. And then some of the terminology he uses is so, it's so specialist that, you know, I'm just not familiar with it. But it will expand my understanding. And I like Will Self. I trust him. Yeah, Will Self. Self will. Or Will's Elf. An elf belonging to a bloke called Will. I bet if you said that to Will Self, he would pull such a fucking face with absolute disgust and contempt for you. He'd get up out of his chair, come over to you, and slap you across the face. Like going, I don't want to hear about elves. You know, I should imagine he's very anti-elf. He looks the sort. You don't do Jimmy Jangle anymore. That was fucking brilliant. No, I don't. And it wasn't fucking brilliant. It was just fucking. It was just the height of political incorrectness. Devil's advocate, sympathy for the devil, embracing the monster. Yeah, the thing about Jimmy is, I couldn't do him now. If I was to do him this minute, it would just be lifeless and dead. There is something about Jimmy that you have to click your fingers and channel him because there is a concept of Jimmy Savile that I carry within my brain, right? that it's a combination of Jimmy when he was on the show, the Louis Theroux thing, the actual real Jimmy, when he's off duty, and only adding subtle nuances of the onstage staccato voice, the delivery, the mispronunciations, the kind of turn of phrase that he'd employ. And I kind of channel, it's not Jimmy, it's a weird hybrid impression of Jimmy, but it kind of occupies it kind of has life to it, if you know what I mean. It's weird. I mean, I've listened to it played back, and it's horrific. It really is horrible. Yeah, Will Self, wasn't he on heroin? Yeah, he was smoking cigarettes at 9, smoking dope at 12, naturally experimenting with everything, and I think he had a decade of heroin. Yeah, doing Jimmy doesn't sound right. I mean, he's all right. Where's Charlie's girl? I've no idea. Well, I know where she is. She's in the country where she lives. Um, what she's doing right now, I don't know. I don't know what time it is there now, but I should imagine she's doing whatever it is she does. Whether she's having a cup of tea, a mug of coffee, a glass of milk. She might be doing something. She's probably could well be she's on the toilet doing a poo. We don't know. She could be watching a soap opera. She could be reading a Will Self novel. I kind of doubt that. I don't think she's aware that men like Will Self exist. I think the only time she's seen a man like Will Self is during a sort of TV broadcast of some Dickensian play. She probably thinks that Ebenezer Scrooge types don't exist in reality, but if she saw Will Self, she'd be like, "Oh my God, there are actually English people like that with long faces and cadaverous sunken eye sockets and perfectly happy to have bad teeth and a balding head without wearing a wig or having surgery the way an American would." Is Will Self worth listening to? Well, which Will Self? Because he speaks on various topics. Is geopsychology or whatever it is, or psychogeography, of walking to places on foot and absorbing things. When he did one once where he walked close to the edge of a cliff, knowing full well that in 5 years' time no one could ever walk that walk again because there simply wasn't the ground there to walk on. Concepts like that. So he's quite interesting for going out and doing stuff and having some very highfalutin concepts on art, film, modern digital media, the nature of fucking mobile phones rotting everyone's brain, and how you should go and read a book instead, and admitting that the novel as an art form is pretty much dead at this point in history. It's such a sort of small and, I hate to use the word elitist, but it's very tiny. It's a very marginal art form now, when it never used to be. Once upon a time, everyone would read, and then it's drifted off. Radio would come in, you'd lose a few readers. TV would come in, you'd lose a few more. Cinemas would get really good. We read stories, you watch them, and then VHS comes along, and then CDs and records. I mean, once upon a time, you had the radio and the TV. Now, you could buy a BBC vinyl album of a radio show or a TV show redone as an audio play, and you could listen to Radio 4 or buy an album. And now, with TV just being on demand, press a button, box set, sit back, the screen has taken over everything. I mean, how many people really care about albums? I mean, me, next month, I'm going to HMV to buy it on the day of release. And me being a rather sad individual, I'll take that receipt and I'll stick it in the box as like proof that I bought it on the day it was released, like a fucking Royal Mail first edition sort of postcard thing with a stamp on the stamps. That, you know what I mean? I'll be like that, and it's worth being like that because it amuses me, and that's the only person I have to amuse. But yeah, Will Self, I'd be shocked if you're an intelligent person who wants your view of the world challenged and your view of what literature actually is and what it can do and how we perceive reality. Then yeah, he's kind of good, and he's got an elegant turn of phrase, and yeah, I like the general look of misery that he carries with him. Although recently he's grown a beard and taken to talking about the cancer treatment he's receiving. Yeah, it's like a bone cancer sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, the guy's 65, so he's towards the end of his life, and I don't think he gives a fuck anymore as long as he gets a few quid rolling in.
No, absolutely not. I took the title literally, like, where are we now? But that does, sorry about that. That actually does relate to sort of the metaphorical sense of like, where are.
Yeah, I've always equated Will Self visually in terms of his bone structure in his face. Always reminded me of the actor Christopher Adamson, who was in Mad Dogs and Englishmen, and he played Mean Machine Angel in the Sylvester Stallone Judge Dredd. He's also in Razorblade Smile. He pops up in a few other things as well. He was basically heavy, and he used to appear on one of those like a candid camera TV show, like a You've Been Framed thing, where they have wind-ups of people. I found out he died last year. Here we go. Why did the Da Vinci Code take off? Dan Brown is such a mediocre author. Yeah, but he's writing for an audience who don't understand anything other than a sort of interesting plot that kind of makes sense to them. They want sensationalism and the idea of like, secret rooms under churches and, a treasure. It's a child's story. Stories for children. I mean, what's his name? Nicolas Cage did a couple of them. What was it called? American Treasure or something, or National Treasure? Yeah, people love that sort of thing. It's like a famous five novel writ large. I mean, he writes books that so that idiots can understand them and get excited by them. This in Nation to Nation. It's like the James Bond meets, a sort of investigator, sort of, of completely made up crap, leading to the fact that Jesus Christ had kids, I think, and it was hidden within Da Vinci. It's all just crap that appeals to idiots. Oh, had a priest that just happened to fly a helicopter. Yeah, well, you always getting priests. I mean, in A Prayer for the Dying, we had a priest who was a former member of the SAS, played by Bob Hoskins. Yeah, I mean, always count on a priest to have a fucking massive special talent in a movie. Interesting priests. Although the idea of a former SAS man being a priest isn't too far fetched because Frank Collins was exactly that. Therefore, he was a vicar. He wasn't a priest, he was a vicar because he was married with kids. He had sex with women, so he was a vicar or a reverend. But he was a padre for the fucking parachute regiment. But he had SAS wings on his fuck because the SAS, when you're in the army and you've been in the SAS and you go back to your parent regiment, you always, for the rest of your career, wear SAS wings on your shoulder. So anyone who knows anything, and the paras all know about the SAS. So when they go back in, when they rotate back into the paras to be like made up to sergeant or sergeant major or fucking training officer for the fucking free fall unit, the Red Devils, They're all strutting around with different wings on their shoulders that aren't para wings. They look like this Egyptian fucking design. That's interesting. Ewan McGregor as a priest. Oh, you don't even mention Ewan McGregor to me. I think he's mediocre. I can't think of a single Ewan McGregor vehicle. And I've seen Shallow Grave, Train Spotting. I saw The Ghost, fucking Roman Polanski on his downward spiral. I've seen his fucking Star Wars fucking mediocre crap. Ewan McGregor, what else has he been in? I don't remember and I don't care. Ewan McGregor. Yeah, I just find him mediocre. He's like the Bono of acting. He's like your Scottish Bono of acting. Whereas Bono is your Irish Bono of singing. It's just like, yeah, he seemed vaguely interested in being attached to something like Train Spotting. But how much of that film is down to the soundtrack and the fact that it was of its fucking era, that if you watch it now, you just go, Christ, it's so much of a fucking 90s film, isn't it? And the 90s, oh God, look how 90s everybody's looks. You don't say that about 60s films. You accept that it's the 60s, it's black and white, and it's people in fucking terraced houses with little squawking kids running up the back alleys and a big fat bird bossing everyone around and fucking Albert Finney fishing down a canal and getting boozed up in a pub. But it doesn't seem to have fucking gone down as badly as the 90s movies, because the 80s movies, you know, you're watching an 80s movie when you watch Top Gun or fucking Angel Heart, they seem to age a bit better than the 90s stuff, where it wasn't about the cinematography, the set design, the mise en scène, and the fucking classic thing of loads of neon, loads of smoke, and have Venetian blinds with the light filtering through. You know, that kind of thing, the fucking American Gigolo kind of style of film, you know, and Top Gun with all the sunsets and the tobacco filters and everything. But 80s stuff seems to survive quite well. 70s stuff is always better than you think it would be. But for some reason, the 90s, it was more to do with the editing style and the musical choices, that everyone was doing things the same way. They're like, it's like everyone had watched my Scorsese and thought, oh God, this is the way you have to do movies. That when the main character arrives, he has to have a fucking rock and roll theme tune playing behind him and fanning about like a dick. Now, Scorsese can do it. Danny Boyle can't. And Quentin Tarantino, you know, he's not as good as everyone thinks. You know, I mean, Pulp Fiction still stands up, but Jackie Brown and Kill Bill, I fucking won't bother watching him again. Didn't Paul Schrader direct American Gigolo? Yeah, along with Hardcore, Blue Collar, um, Light of Day, um, a couple of others. Blue Collar's a good one. Harvey Keitel and Richard Pryor. Hardcore, I think it was George C. Scott. Yeah, there's American Gigolo. Cat People with Natasha Kinski. That was a weird one. Fucking a lot of David Bowie on that soundtrack. And then, but my favourite stuff by Paul Schrader was the autofocus. I like that. I liked autofocus, and he even had a go at one of the Exorcist prequel. Oh, weird. But then they remade it got Rennie Harlan in to remake the same film again with the same cast and released it. And it was rubbish. And then they released the original one, which was still rubbish, but got better viewing than the remake. They remade a film before it was released. That's an odd thing. But Autofocus, I really enjoyed that by Paul Schrader. What else is it? Light Sleeper with Willem Dafoe. Yeah, Paul Schrader's an interesting movies there. But Autofocus, check that one out. Yeah. Oh yeah, you already have. Yeah, Autofocus about Bob Crane is excellent. Thumbs up. Thank you. Thank you. It's a bit of a weird one. It was done on very low budget, but Bob Crane, Willem Dafoe, they weren't doing that for the money. They weren't doing it to keep busy. They had read that script and they thought, we can nail this. We're going to do some real acting and some really nuanced performances of real people and show a bit of humanity, depth, pathos. And the supporting cast, the wife was great. The bird who plays Bob Crane's wife was brilliant. It was fantastic. Yeah, I've got a British quad of autofocus, the poster, and I really rate it as one of Schrader's finest. In as much as it's a film that appeals to me because it's got the sense of humour and the incredible sadness and emptiness. It's a beautiful piece, but well acted. And Willem Dafoe, everybody thinks he's a gurning goblin man who overacts. They think he's Nicolas Cage with better cheekbones. And yeah, he can chew up the furniture like anyone else, but he is so subtle, nuanced, and human. It's like if you don't think Willem Dafoe can act, watch Autofocus and get educated on what beautiful real acting is. I got Face on DVD recently, Love on a Bay, yet to watch them, 90s British films. Yeah, 90s British films. Let's go through them. Blue Juice with Sean Pertwee, Ewan McGregor, Keith Allen, Jenny Agutter, and Catherine Zeta-Jones about surfers in Cornwall. Smuggler FM. There you go. Rita Wilson, gorgeous looking woman. Greg Kinnear did a great job. They both did. But Willem Dafoe's the one who comes off as most interesting because you normally think he plays villains and cackling madmen and Billy Dupre in no Billy Perdue, Billy Perdue. I can't remember his name, but Wild at Heart with Nick Cage and that gurning woman, directed by fucking the cunt who did Eraserhead and Dune. What was it? David Lynch. You know, you can play a madman role like that. Yeah, well, you watch him in autofocus and he is fantastic. Yeah, Blue Juice, yeah, right. Shopping, remember that one? 90s films. Oh, I think it might have been 2001. What year was Dog Soldiers? I think that's not a 90s film. That's a shame because it'd be nice to have a good 90s film. Right, 90s films. What about Mad Dogs and Englishmen? Liz Hurley as a high class junkie who has a fling with a motorcycle carrier. Yeah, there's a weird little one for you. Beyond Bedlam with Kevin Allen. We mentioned Shallow Grave earlier. Christopher Eccleston. And here we go. Dog Soldiers 2000, not to be pedantic. No, it's not pedantic. It's being correct. I was thinking, did it sneak in as a 90s movie at the very fucking end? And I was pretty sure it didn't. But you know, we have to be sure because if Dog Soldiers had been a 90s movie, we'd have a good one on the list. So, but unfortunately, we don't. It's an early 2000s movie. So yeah, these have to be British movies as well. What else we got in the 90s? I just need to get off the top of my fucking head. I mean, 80s movies, it's more my thing. I'm trying to think 90s. Lock Stock is 98, almost 30 years ago. Shocking. Yeah, Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. Yeah, 28 years ago. Oh, it's enough to make you do a poo in your pants and then squish around in it in your own filth. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else was there. There was weird stuff. Oh God, it's got the bloke in it who was in Life on Earth, and it's all about the party scene, and I can't remember what it's called. There you go. Life is Sweet Naked. Oh yeah, yeah. Mike Lee. Naked is fantastic film. An odyssey of darkness through the eyes of a fucking nihilistic bully who wants to intellectually destroy anyone he meets, but is physically a coward. It's a weird thing. He runs away to escape a beating and runs straight into a beating. Yeah, Johnny. Interesting character. David Thewlis. I don't think he's ever equaled that. I mean, he played Handsome Freddie Mays in Gangster Number One. But no, yeah, Johnny. Nobody knows where my Johnny has gone. Well, he's fucking hitchhiked down to London in a stolen car to fucking be with his ex-bird, who's a right common northern cow. She's all full of common sense, so he shags her fucking flatmate who's quite saucy. Yeah, that was a weird film. Naked. Oh God, let him have it. Was that 90s? Did that sneak into the 90s? Oh, here we go. The Young Poisoner's Handbook. All about the Graham Young case, the teacup poisoner. Now, they did a TV drama of it, but it didn't cover his teenage years and his family. It only showed what he got up to in the Bovington area. Yeah, Graham Young is fascinating. Um, yeah, look into that case, but it's not for the squeamish. Yeah, now come on, let's get some more 90s movies. Because we had Hugh Grant, we had four weddings and a funeral. You know, that kind of nonsense was going on. Trying to think, was not Mr. Bean. Did they do a Mr. Bean movie in the 90s? I'm trying to think, what did Rowan Atkinson do in the 90s? I'm sure they'd done something, wouldn't they? I heard he was in poison in jail. Yeah, well, who's going to sneak poison into his fucking food? Could have poisoned himself, could have been a fucking heart attack because he's miserable with life anyway. We don't know, and we don't care. But I think they would have checked for poison. It's just, just on his reputation alone. Um, you're all right, doggy. You're all right. So what else was going? 90s British films. Spice World. Fucking Spice World. If you want to see a British director, Mel Smith. He directed a few things. You could go and check his filmography for what he was doing in the 90s. But yeah, I think the 90s was a bit of a thin patch. It was the last fucking dregs. Films like bloody Shopping. Oh. Didn't they have films that fucking starred fucking birds out of fucking All Saints? They got so desperate they couldn't find any real actresses, so they employed pop stars to be in shitty fucking films. Maybe the prison guards didn't mind if they knew the poison was. I don't think anyone in the prison system wanted to kill him, but you know, you can enjoy this belief that because of recent trends, anyone who's a famous murderer gets murdered in prison. Is no, it's just a recent thing where there's been some high-profile fucking murders of high-profile people, and it seems to have set a precedent that people are just willing to go for it now because they think it's funny. Yeah, the guards wouldn't give a fuck about Graham Young. Just another fucking dickhead doing his bird. Right. So what else is there? 90s films. 90s British films. Can't really think of that many. Razorblade Smile. Eileen Daly as a vampire. Oh, Barrymore was in Spice World. Yeah, spice up your life. Yeah, the 90s. I mean, what happened? We had Britpop, Tony Blair came into power, then we had fucking Princess Diana dying in that fucking crash, which put the fucking. I just put the skids on everything. It was like, oh, fuck. And we slowly slid into fucking manufactured pop group after what appeared to be a return for guitar-based rock with like Ocean Colour Scene and Blur and Oasis and a few others. It just denigrated into produced pop, which would go further into them showing the process of picking these idiots to be famous. Space Truckers was an Anglo-American co-production, I think. Yeah, but it was all American stars. It doesn't strike me as a British film. No, I think we got Dennis Hopper in the lead. It's American. The bird in it I liked. She was in Goodfellas as well. She plays his fucking bit on the side. For a few years, I somehow had an idea it was Fairuza Balk, but it wasn't. It was this other bird. She's quite cute, actually. Um, she don't make it into the first birds in the world, though. Yeah, 90s British films. Oh, all right then. I'll fucking I'll crack under pressure. I've exhausted my fucking my treacherously poor memory, and we'll ask AI. List of Yeah, it says list of rivers. Here we go. 1990s British films. Okay, let's have a look at that then. Come on. Gangster number one might have sneaked it in as 1999. I don't know. We'll soon find out. Don't think Tank Girl qualifies as a British film. No, of course it doesn't. Right, 1990. The Craze. Life is Sweet. Oh, here we go. Howard's End. Howard's Bell End. We forgot all the Merchant Ivory garbage, or like costume dramas. Raining Stones by Ken Loach. Naked, Four Weddings, a Funeral, Shallow Grave, Train Spotting. Here we go. The Madness of King George. Secrets and Lies. Oh, here we got one. Brassed Off. The Full Monty. Career Girls, Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels, Shakespeare in Love, Elizabeth, My Name is Joe, Notting Hill, East is East, Topsy Turvy, The End of the Affair. Now, the one we can all be ashamed of for not mentioning, Nil by Mouth, 1997, directed by Gary Oldman. You have probably the artistic high point of British films of the 90s. Christopher Nolan directed Memento, 2001. Did it have any 90s output? I don't know. He might have been doing crappy student films, all really minor, sort of, what do you call them? Offbeat cult shit that only ever got shown at a festival and was never given a formal fucking release on DVD, and you can only find a fucking VHS bootleg if you look for it, that kind of thing. But no, we were just discussing British films like Christopher Nolan. I mean, yeah, I'm vaguely aware of his Dark Knight trilogy, and I didn't care for it because no matter how fucking well it's photographed, how much you spend on the sets, the designs, the costumes, the actors, all this, it's a millionaire who dresses up as a bat and goes out beating up criminals when what he really should do is invest his money into fucking turning the city into a nicer place that doesn't produce the fucking poverty that allows a criminal structure to fucking exist. You left out Bob Hoskins 24/7. Well, let's just double check that. I mean, I just asked the fucking AI to fucking come up with 90s films. Here we go. Bob Hoskins. Obviously, he didn't list every 90s film done, but 24/7, was that Wayne fucking Shane fucking Meadows or something? Here we go. Bob Hoskins. It didn't have blue juice in that fucking list I come up with either. It's just like it's probably the fucking ones that got American releases or that were most famous. But yeah, let's see what 24/7 was. Yeah, we'll soon find out. Yeah, 97. Shane Meadows, his feature debut. Yeah. Middle-aged man who watches his old working class community fall apart in now. He's such a dog, no job, young man's hanging around off to it, so crime, drink a fighting. Amateur boxing club, purpose, discipline, brotherhood, not a trained coach, the bloke who's had enough. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well, obviously that wasn't an exhaustive list of the 90s, but it covered a few. Yeah. Anyway, enough about movies. Let's change the topic. I'm bored. I'm bored, I'm hot, I'm sweaty. I think the heat has just disappeared from yesterday, and I'm about to get another dose of it. Fucking, oh, it's fucking horrible when it's too hot. It's too hot, and I'm sick of it. It's too hot. I'm a prick of it. It's too hot. I've had a fucking enough of this weather. The Field. That's a Yankee film, though, weren't it? It's really got to be British money, British cast, British director. Yeah, Richard Harris, Sean Bean, John Hurt. Richard Harris is it was shot in fucking Ireland. I mean, I know that's an American funded film, and it's if the British had done it, they wouldn't have fucking deviated so far from the true fucking story, which is a lot different to what they fucking showed in that thing. It was a quarrel between two fucking farmers over a fucking disputed piece of land between theirs. One of them was murdered, the other one was suspected of doing it, but never proven. But he died before his time, a very lonely man, because the whole fucking village disowned him. They wouldn't fucking talk to him. Oscar Wilde, oh god, that'll be another Merchant Ivory fucking piece of shit. Those films don't count. Anything with fucking Hugh Grant or fucking birds wearing fucking fancy old dresses from the olden days. That's a load of shit. Yeah, yeah, The Field. That's not a British fucking film. If you want to see an Irish film, the Banshees of Enniskillen or something, that weird fucking film. It's got Brendan Gleeson and the bloke who plays Bullseye. What's his name? Colin Farrell, whatever. But these two mates are friends, and one of them just goes, "I don't want to be friends anymore," and it just goes a bit weird. My Beautiful Laundrette was that? I think that was 80s though. That was definitely 80s. Asians and gay stuff. Oh well, something for everyone if you like your Asians and your gays. Has it got gay Asians, or does it differentiate between the gays and the Asians? Yeah, I've never seen it. Oh dear. Yeah, the 90s. I don't want to discuss the 90s anymore. It was a good era for me because I was young. I was in my 20s. It's when I was fucking. It's when I was doing. I don't know. Within the most. Yeah, I think that's when I had the most beautiful birds who were all fucking between the ages of 20 and 25 and 27, 28. Yeah, it's when I was doing the birds with the perfect bodies and gorgeous film star fucking looks. Yeah, well, in my opinion, and I was very complimentary. 30s is when I started doing the real dirty birds who took it up the bum and everything. And they were still in their fucking 20s. I was all right, dirty devil. There were no gays then except Boy George. Oh, really? And Elton John. And Frankie Goes to Hollywood. And what's his name out of Soft Cell? What was he called him? And there was Larry Grayson on the TV and Frankie Howard. Oh, God, Mark Almond out of Soft Cell. Yeah, there were loads of gays. World was full of gays. Oh, shut that door. Yeah, it was C3PO out of fucking Star Wars, world's first gay robot. Yeah, it was full of gays. I think the 80s was the gayest fucking decade ever. Yeah, I think didn't the Sun produce the fucking headline, "Good on you, Pufter"? Yeah, very weird time. No, there were loads of gays around. I think gays have been around since I think the 50s and 60s. They've been all over the media. Back when it was properly fully illegal to be gay, and they were just gaying it up anyway. Didn't give a fuck. Francis Bacon, the painter. Oh, gay as you like, he was. Gay as a lord. Camp as Christmas. Yeah, well, so should we go and research that one? That was an anecdote I was told. There you go. Hello, AI agent. I want you to do some research. Apparently, in the late 1980s, Elton John married a woman, and a tabloid newspaper celebrated this by giving the headline, "Good on you, Pufter." Can you verify this, please? Right, so far it hasn't found any sign of it, but it's going to do a deeper search for the Sun from the month where it happened. Yeah. Yeah, can you look for different spellings of Pufter? Because there's probably 4 or 5 different fucking versions. Yeah, we'll wait and see. Oh, God, he's thinking about it, but he's actually going through some headlines. All different versions of how to spell Pufter. What's that? People thought Jagger and Bowie were gay on Dancing in the Street. People have thought gay from the minute they fucking faces in the public eye. There's no evidence that they did. Right. Right. Last version of Pufter. Everybody's been good on your poof. It might not have been the front page headline. It could have been a headline within the fucking newspaper. Oh god, I'm gonna have to go and do a fucking Google search. I say Google, it's fucking Apple fucking search engine, right? Elton John son, 1984, marriage. I'm sort of person, I go past the church, I go, don't do it. Right, Elton John, 1984, marriage, as reported in British tabloid newspapers. Headlines. Oh, God, I've had enough now. I'm all sweaty. Here we go. The London Sun notoriously published the elbow-raising headline, "Good on you, Pufter." It was the London Sun. Let's have a look. Search the web. Here we go. Images. Mr. X ate my hamster. London Sun. Here you go. London Sun. Good on you, Pufter. Right, see if it comes up with anything there. No, I'm not finding a fucking image of it. It says it happened. The tabloid published the inflammatory quote, "Good on you, Pufter." I can't find an image of it. But apparently it exists. Good on you, Pufter. Right, you'd think there'd be an image of the fucking newspaper. But no. Willie Young. Oh dear. Elton John. Good on you, Pufter. Oh dear. Yeah, apparently it did happen, but I can't find the fucking just can't find an image of it. Right, does it have the fucking date that it was published? Because if I type the Sun, right, 17th of February 1984. The 17 Feb 1984 front cover. Right, here we go. Historical newspaper archives. Philly Star ate my hamster. No. There you go, The Sun, February 1984. It wasn't on the front cover, though. Someone else was on the front cover. The Sun, 17th of February 1984. Might find an eBay advert for someone selling. Total eclipse of the sun. That's 1983. Right, we've given up on that. No more of that. I had enough of that. Who's just find King Solomon's gold at this rate? Yeah, well, that was melted down. Last time it was seen, fucking Kenneth Noy was fucking passing it on. You know, buried treasure doesn't stay buried. Someone finds it. They don't tell the world they found it. They just melt it down into ingots and it gets redistributed. Well, there are loads of spellings of pufter and poof. Yeah, well, we've had enough of that. We've covered the 1990s film. We've covered the Sun's fucking politically incorrect stance on celebrating pufters who married women. You know, I think Kenny Everett, the sort of DJ and TV comedian, he went from married a woman at one point in the best possible taste. You know, I like to know. Puke, stupid cunt, Cupid stunt. There was Brotherly Love. There was Bomb the Bastards. There was the Mime Artist. And then there was that weird French guy with a fucking moustache and a fake chin covering Kenny Everett's beard. Marcel, he might have been called. I can't remember. But yeah, Kenny Everett. Well, the thing is, I've seen. I think I've got the DVD of the highlights, but I'm sure there's more to be seen. If someone's uploaded a bit of old VHS of the shows, I wonder if they're available as full shows. Yeah, we'll just keep looking. Somewhere on the little fucking website, but it's obviously not a big deal that it's been uploaded multiple times all over the show. I mean, it was an obscure thing when I fucking mentioned it in passing, and it was an obscure thing when somebody told me about it. I don't remember seeing it at the time. It was just related to me, and I was like, yeah, it must have been true. You know, I'll go and look for it. Never found it. Right. If I can't find Kenny Everett's video show, I'll have a look at some old Not the 9 o'clock news videos. Right, Kenny Everett. Kenny Everett. I used to like Captain Kremen. Here we go. The best of funny bits. Now I want the whole episodes, right? Search filters, playlist. Because if it's full episodes, oh, here we go. 17 full episodes, apparently. Series 2, Series 2, Series 2, Series 2. No. Yeah, these are full episodes. They're 5 and 6 minute chunks. Yeah, why have you called your playlist full episodes when it fucking well isn't? There's something wrong with you. There we go, full episodes. Let's see if we can find some actual full episodes. Right, okay. 30 minutes, 153, 28, 35, 26, 30, 29, 56, 24, 10, 9, 12. Right, okay. There might be something.
I challenge ye to endure. Where might one duel to the death these days?
Where might one duel to the death these days? On the toilet, probably.
Master, pray open with Thursday's philosophical can of beans. Today's piece of wisdom is God is watching us all the time. Even now? Yes. He never watches ITV. No. Dino D. Horrendous Productions, in association with BBC, the station that brought you trawler fishing can be fun. All you need to know about pins and hang gliding in a chest of drawers is this. I don't know. Kenny something. The Kenny something television show.
There you go. I found some Kenny adverts to watch. I'm going to fucking do that. Oh, I'll get my head down before the sun comes up. Colony Club. Yeah, Jeffrey Burnett. Well, the thing is, right, back in the days of traditional licensing hours, if you wanted to drink after 11 or at 3 in the morning or whatever it was, you had to be a member of a private club. So you had the ground show, the colony room, others. But yeah, this big thing. That's where Will Smith was drinking with Jim Moore, Vic Reeves. And Vic's going, you won't do it, but I tell you what, why don't you come on the show? And he goes, yeah, I'll do it. And Vic's like, no, you won't, you'll bottle out. And he did it, you know. Anyway, I'm off. I'll see you later. Have a lovely day. Well, there's the button to turn the bloody hellish thing off.
Spiders are supposed to be lucky. Geezer says he wasn't.